let's turn our attention to the jam-packed Thursday night NHL slate. 14 games, so pretty much almost every single team is in action tonight. It is going to be a big night on the ice. Dave, I'll get you to bring up the best bets page if you can. Spoke about before that the model for NBA tonight was a little bit scarce. I wasn't too confident in some of those traditional money line spread and totals markets that we're displaying on the NBA best bets page, but not so with the NHL slate. So the model has been humming on this particular market that Dave is hovering over at the moment, which is the puck line. So generally our model is leaning towards underdogs on the puck line, that plus 1.5, and it has been reaping rewards. I would dare say that this, out of among all markets that we run models for across every sport, this is the sweetest of all spots. I think right now we're displaying, what does it say? I've got my glasses on, but I can't see. About 36%.
36.3. Yeah, 36.3 over 30 bets. I believe it's up to a 3% edge because this Flames plus 1.5 does not have it. So that's how I would read it.
Yeah, so it's between 2% and 3% edge. And generally that's a threshold for us to kind of display a bet as a best bet where we think we're beating the market pricing by around about 2 to 3%. And that's where it's been displaying the most. I think it should actually be displaying a sweet spot on that threshold above 3% as well, because I think we've been ticking over at 31%. So let me follow up on that. But the ones I want to highlight there, Dave, I'll get you to go and filter by sweet spots specifically, because those are the games I want to focus on, which are the Capitals plus 1.5 and the Kraken. Is that today? Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Just put
Capitals 1.5 and the Kraken plus 1.5 as well. So those are the two that I want to have a look at as the recommended best bets of the night. Have a look at those ones. Now, we do have a slight sweet spot on moneyline bets as well. You'll see that sweet spot tag popping up for a lot of those. It is a very mild one. And I dig deeper into the resulting tool, which I have access to, which I try and give some help to you guys through the Model Insight reports if you are a Diamonds Pro subscriber. If we dig a little bit deeper into that, we see that the profit is really coming from home teams on the money line where we've found an edge, and I don't think any of those qualified tonight. So while overall we're displaying a slight profit on that market where we've identified an edge in that edge range of around about 3 to 5%, which basically means that we think our model is beating the books in pricing by 3%. What's really holding it up is those home teams. So if you're looking to kind of really narrow down your focus and have a look at, okay, what bets do I really want to take tonight? I'd be focusing on those two puck lines up the top there, which is the Capitals plus 1.5, the Kraken plus 1.5. The Blackhawks were also on this page up until probably just before we started going live. So monitor that as the day goes on. That might appear depending on how the odds fluctuate during the day. I'm guessing that the edge has gone down, so the odds have gone slightly worse throughout the course of the day. But have a look at that, circle back to it, and you might see some value there. So that's all from a sweet spot perspective. Capitals and Kraken for mine as the plays of the night based upon the data. Dave, I know you've been digging deep into some of the goal scorer props for the evening.
Yeah, so we'll look at a few. I've just pulled up here and I filtered by goal scorers. And of course, there's a good one here with Pasta, who wasn't here before. And Draisaitl. There's a lot of good names on here tonight. Matchups are very important in hockey as well. Sometimes you want to make sure you're not going up against one of the elite goalies or a team that doesn't really allow a lot of goals. But I filtered here by goals. And just before we get into this, while I have this up on screen, I just want to highlight a couple of players who show up with an edge in both points and goals. Actually, you know what? Let me filter and I'll just see if they're still all up here. They might not be, as we know, things change here. But there are a number of guys who pop up with both of these edges. And I like looking for those because, well, we've had success targeting them lately. And, if you're up there for a point and a goal, you get a goal, you're going to get that point. So there's a little bit of correlation there. Also really good if you see them with an edge for assists, because that also qualifies for a point. Over in shots on goal, that correlates pretty well with scoring a goal. And then if they pop up in our trends page as well, that's an even bigger bonus. So just rolling through these, a few guys that I know for a fact earlier popped up with point and goal. Teuvo Teravainen is one of them. He's got 8 points in 7 games since the Olympics. 3 of those are goals. Utah is one of the tougher matchups on the slate. They allow just 2.79 goals per game this season, but their projected goalie, Karl Vizmelka, he's given up 4+ and 4 of 6 since the break, including back-to-back. So pretty good point spot for here for Teravainen. 51.5% probability at plus money. Always a really good sign for me personally. Evander Kane's another one of them. He's a game time decision. There's kind of an interesting thing going on with him where he's, I want to say, 9 games away from his 1,000th game played, and his coach notoriously, or like not notoriously, but vocally wants him to reach that this season, get his silver stick. So he might play, even though he, I believe he was scratched the other night, but he was in all 3 markets actually, point, assist, and goal. Projected goalies in this game, not very good. Both of them allow, I think, are both bottom 5 goalies. Kane's got all 3 edges, as I said. Could be plenty of goals in this one, so why not take a chance maybe on a slightly deeper guy? Also at 51% and plus 150 for a very substantial edge here. A couple other guys I know are on here. Barbashev, he popped up. I think Aiden Hill's the better goalie to attack, taking Penguins against the Golden Knights here, but he gets the goal on a point edge. He's got 4 points, 2 goals in March. So he's got a little bit of positive form in his favor. And then Marco Kasper was one other one who popped up with all 3. Not quite the same high probability as the others. Typically like to go after the you typically don't want to go after the Lightning because their goal scoring or defensive ability is very good. However, Vasilevsky's been a little bit shaky lately, a little outside his usual tier of production, and you might be able to sneak a goal with someone like Kasper, who's got an edge in all 3. So if you want to go with just the point, you're getting your highest probability. He was like something like 450 for a goal, so you could get out there. Way down there, ton of NHL props. I think he might skate on the same line as Lucas Raymond here. So that kind of caught my eye earlier as well when the guy's got a point or assist edge, also skating on the same line with someone has a goal scorer edge. Again, kind of nice correlation, like the Luka Austin Reeves assists and threes type thing. So always good to look for the guys who pop up in more than one spot. Usually means the model's, particularly favoring them tonight. You check the matchup to make sure it looks good and see if you could find some favorable players there. Now I just want to highlight some goal scorers here, and I think we could go after a little bit of a round robin with some of our higher probability goal scorers with an edge here. All 5 of these guys get a Dimers model edge. I hope that they're all still up here on site. If they're not, I will just pull up the screenshot I took of them earlier, and I'll just cover them here. But William Nylander jumps out for me. We have an edge on the top 3 goal scorers in Ducks versus Maple Leafs. But there's also an edge on Nylander's line mate, or was anyway, to get an assist or a point. But still, Nylander stands out to me over Austin Matthews. Matthews hasn't scored since the break. Nylander's got 4. He's a little bit lower in probability here, but significantly better odds, giving you the better edge here. Also a high edge play. Lots of goals likely in this one with both teams as bottom 5 defenses. So I think it's a good spot to attack really whoever you want, but I think Nylander's the pick. Matthew Tkachuk here, his probability has actually gone up. He's almost at 50% now. Odds have barely moved, maybe even in our favor, to be honest. But both of the goalies in this game have a save percentage under 885. Bobrovsky's been a little bit better for the Panthers, so I like turning to the other side of the matchup and going after the Blue Jackets. Elvis Merzlikins has given up 14 goals in 4 starts since the Olympics break. Tkachuk gets great value. Just had a hat trick the other night. He's got 5 goals since the league came back. Going down here, hopefully he's still here. He's actually not. So you know what? This is where I will pull in my compiled 5 guys with an edge. Alex DeBrincat here against the Lightning. Like I said, generally don't go after Andrei Vasilevsky, but he's been a little bit shakier lately, despite being top 5 in the NHL in wins, save percentage, goals against average. But he's given up 4+ goals in 3 of 5 since the Olympics, 3+ in all but 1. Not very Andrei Vasilevsky-like, Alex DeBrincat's got 3 goals in 6 games since the break and a point in all but 1. So he looks like a really solid target here tonight. Next up, Morgan Geekie. Also kind of an interesting one, as we did not have an edge on Pasternak before when I was putting this together, but we do now. So if you'd rather go with, the Pasta Man, feel free to. He would probably be my first choice, although we're getting some really good value here on Geekie. But anytime you can attack the Sharks, I think you have to. He's having a bit of a quiet month so far in March, but his 34 goals, ranked 6th in the NHL. Weighted a bit more heavily towards the beginning of the season when he was on an absolute tear through the first couple months. But it's important to note, I still think that he only has one stretch longer than his current 3-game goalless streak all year. And he's got as good of a matchup as any tonight. So he very rarely finds himself, or basically never finds himself without a goal in more than 3 games in a row. Good matchup tonight and a solid Dimers model edge here at almost 40% and plus 175 odds. And then rounding it out, Brian Rust, good goalie matchup with the expected starter, Aiden Hill, 859 save percentage, 3.31 goals against average, and 3 goals or more in all but 1 game since the break. No shutouts this year either, so he's basically a lock for a goal, at least 1 to be scored. Russ has 4 goals since the league's return, 9 total points. He's been very active, having a really nice run since the Olympics break. If you're going to play these as a round robin, I would personally keep it to a ×4 and the 5 leg. The odds aren't quite as long enough, I think, where you can guarantee yourself a profit at ×3 without investing a little bit more than I personally think is worth it. Like, if you're going to have to invest what you need to for the ×3 to be profitable, you should probably just play these guys as straight legs and then play the ×4, ×5. Obviously, with these edges, the Dimers model recommends them all as straights. I think they're all in good matchups tonight and good spots, so I think they're worth targeting either as straight bets or as I played in the 5-leg round robin and the ×4. The 5-leg is about 162 to 1 for a total lotto on FanDuel, and it's one I'll be on tonight.